I'd like to call to order the City of Ocean Shores Planning Commission meeting. It's Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025 at 2 p.m. We're in the Ocean Shores Library on Point Brown Avenue in Ocean Shores, Washington. Roll call. Commissioners Bricker. Here. Johnston. Here. Peterson.
Here.
Ward. Here. And Lawless is here. I'd like a motion to excuse Commissioner Kern.
We'll move.
Second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We have a resignation to acknowledge. Commissioner Tom Bees notified me that he has resigned. So the process we'll go through now is for the next two council meetings, there will be a position open on the planning commission to allow time for applications. And then at that point, we'll see what applications we receive. And then we'll set up interviews. And then we will interview those applicants and provide a recommendation to the mayor, who will then take a name to the city council to be ratified. So that will be coming forward. Like to approve the meeting agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as written? So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of minutes of the regular City of Ocean Shores Planning Commission meeting that was held on July 8th. Motion to approve those as written. So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll move to public communication. Is there anyone in the room that has any comments? No. Okay, if there's not any in the room, anyone online that would like to make a comment? Don, Jane?
Nothing here. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Jane, anything?
No, nothing. Just good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon. There's no public communication. Then we'll move on to public restrooms. Last meeting, we talked about questions that would be submitted to the commission for consideration for the subcommittee to then take to businesses and ask. Commissioner Kern, who's not here today, has sent out his questions. Randy, did you have any questions that you wanted to add to the fray?
No, I think they covered everything that I was thinking anyway, so.
So I'll read Commissioner Kern's questions. He's introducing himself. He sits on the planning commission. We're polling downtown core business owners to gather information as to the perceived adequacy of restrooms available to customers. Would you take just a moment to answer a few questions for our survey? And he has listed 4 questions for us to consider. Do you provide restrooms for customers? Do you have customers who request to use your restroom, whether you provide them or not? If you do not provide a customer restroom, are you able to provide the customer information as to the location of the nearest public restroom? Or if I ask you to rate the perceived importance of the provision of additional restrooms in the central business core on a scale of 1 to 4, 4 being the highest need, how would you rate it? And then thanking the business owner for their time and consideration. Any thoughts by the commission on those questions?
What's the end result of this?
The whole idea is to get feedback from the business owners as to what we perceive as a need for more, bless you, public restrooms in the business core. and then trying to figure out location, if we move forward with that.
Just to build more bathroom.
It's a good question. Are we gonna build? Are we just gonna add more during large events? Or add more just in general for every weekend use kind of thing? That's really the question we're trying to figure out here. So. Any other thoughts? On these questions, or do we want to, change those questions, think of other questions? Or do we want to let our subcommittee loose, with contacting the business owners with that? There's other, questions that had been raised. I know, Tom Bees had sent in about 10 questions early on, that he had come up with. He had basically just used a Google search and, came up with those. But any thoughts? And
I think it's a little bit cumbersome. I submitted this, this possible way to do it, and it's after,
on what
the
page?
minutes. And I don't mean be critical, but for me, that's cumbersome, but why not just, do you have a restroom, yes or no?
There you go.
Who can use the restroom? Employees and customers, open to the public.
On page 6, yeah.
I think should consider something like that to start with, and then ask other questions.
Sure. Because we've already discussed that the first thing we need is signs as to where our restrooms are, and we don't have that yet. And then if we're going to add restrooms, where should we add them? So I know the mayor's on board with this topic. He's just looking for some ideas from us. Dan, what you've got here, I mean, it's really easy and direct. Do you have a restroom? Yes or no? Yeah. And who can use it? And I don't know. That coupled with the flyer that the subcommittee would be handing out, and they can put it in their window, which tells them where the public restroom is available, across from the Shiloh, might just be adequate. Any thoughts?
I have a question, if I may.
Yes.
The last meeting that we had talked about asking this committee to, they volunteered to go visit with people that had restrooms
Yes.
and ask them if the public was welcome to use them. Did we hear anything back on that?
We haven't, because what we asked is that they bring us questions, that we had approved the questions that they would go ask.
Okay, so I'm getting ahead of myself.
So
Okay,
that's where we're at
Thank you.
now.
Just make it-
So, if you approve the questions, then the subcommittee can go forth and ask those questions. Randy, as
I'm kind of inclined to agree with
Dan.
Dan's approach that
Okay,
keep it simple.
yeah,
I mean, that's pretty much the synopsis of it, Do you have restrooms? Well, if they're an employer, they're required by law to have one, but they still got to answer it. And then if they have, who can use it?
who can use it, which is a
Your
critical
employees.
question, right?
Customers, yeah, that's the 3 options right there. That'd be the simplest way to get them aware of the fact that we're actually looking to do something.
That coupled with the flyer,
Yes.
I think that's really adequate to get the discussion going in the business district.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts? Well, do I have a motion to approve using the questions submitted that are on page 6 here? And the flyer for the subcommittee to contact businesses in the business core to see what their feel is the need for additional public restrooms in the business core. Do I have a motion for that?
So move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. So let's go with what Dan has submitted here on page 6 of our agenda here, and we'll, along with the flyer, let's see what the business owners tell us in terms of feedback. Any other comments? Okay, the next item on our agenda is the handbook update. So I know I have finished my pages 1 through 21. Dan, I know you have submitted your changes. Tom B said that there wasn't any changes in his area. Dennis, have you had a chance to look at yours?
I have. I've looked at it and I've looked up, the one question that I have that and I'm kind of new to these things too, so, is that some of the RCWs, I mean, I ran into where they said effective until July 1 of 2026.
Okay,
So is that something that we want to look at now?
that would be, I would read that to mean that is the current RCW. And so we would include that updated with that date. So it's
Okay.
good true. And then at some point later, after that date, we can update it.
Okay, okay,
Because then presumably sometime after 26, the legislature is going to have to update that.
okay,
And then we can update our handbook accordingly.
okay.
With the new RCW.
Well, then the ones I looked at and looked up conform to what need no changes.
So they're current.
Yes, they are.
Okay, wonderful. Randy, have you had an opportunity to look at yours yet?
I'm about halfway through.
Halfway through? Okay. All right. So when we get, Thorne, have you had a chance to look at yours?
Basically a reiteration of various RCWs.
So
Make me king and I'll fix it.
I see, but no change from the current, from 2022?
Not that we could.
Oh, gotcha. I see what you mean. Yeah. Okay. All right, so if we get those all together, if you can submit those, well, if there haven't been changes, no problem.
Okay.
Then when we get them all together, we'll put it together and we'll vote on those changes as we see them. And put them forth to council for approval, because it'll have to go to council to change our handbook. Okay, any other comments, questions? Okay, the next item on the agenda is trapping in ocean shores. I thought that that was going to be on the agenda this evening, and it's not. So that's really why I had it on there for the agenda today. So I had called and asked Scott Harris from Department of Fish and Wildlife to attend council tonight, and he evidently called someone who I'm not sure and said he was not going to be able to make it. So it's not on the agenda tonight. My conversation with him, though, I will share in that first thing he said is he didn't like it. Well, that shocked me, quite frankly, and I told him so. So, well, that's kind of shocking to me because we listened to your perspective in this room. And we wrote what we thought was good legislation. We didn't go as far as he wanted us to go, because he wanted us to adopt the RCW, which we didn't, which allows killing of animals. We did not want to go as far as allowing killing of animals. And so we are where we are. So he said he didn't like it. But it wasn't in front of him, so he couldn't tell me what he didn't like. And then he said, well, I'm probably not gonna get back to you by next meeting. So here we are. He doesn't like it, but we have no feedback yet on what his issue might be. So, we'll see if, we get any feedback from him before the next meeting. I am going to try to push to get it on the agenda for next time. Quite frankly, I don't care if he comes. We've already got his perspective. We've written according to what we decided, we thought was best based on his input. And we chose not to go as far as the RCW that he was proposing. So we'll see how that goes. We do have some public comment, however, that I'd like to share. Dated July 22nd. Commission members, I understand that you're working on a revision on the city code sections 8.20.100 and 8.20.110 and 8.20.120 on trapping. I watched the recording of the meeting from June 10th. While some of the audio was difficult to hear, I did get a good sense of the comments. I read the red line proposal and have some comments of my own. The proposed revision changes the language of the title from prohibited to allowed. I think there's a problem in taking this approach. I can envision someone reading 8.20.100 without reading the other sections. They could then assume that trapping is generally allowed and that they individually could determine that there was a threat to human life or property damage and act upon that. I think a better approach would be to say that trapping is prohibitive subject to the exceptions defined in 8.20.110 and 8.20.120. I assume that you're aware of the extremely dangerous situation that was created 2 years ago when a local trapper caught 2 black bear cubs. The risk to human safety was extreme, and it required Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife officers several hours, the use of a houndsman and shotguns to defuse the situation. Hounds were necessary to hold the sow at bay while the officers worked to free the cubs. No one except the trapper and her close associates knew of that location, and an innocent person walking by unawares could have been attacked by the mother bear, who was quite agitated at the time. This was gross negligence and reckless endangerment. We should not encourage that. I'm attaching the incident report by Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife Officer McCumber. I would attend the Planning Commission meetings in person, but I have an ongoing commitment on Tuesday afternoons, which preclude my attendance. Please contact me if you have any questions. Thank you, David Lynn. And he did attach the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife incident report of July 22nd, 2023, which I won't read and go back through, but that was attached to his public comment. So any comment on the trapping as is, or the public comment as submitted? No? Okay. So we will move forward from that. The next item on our agenda is update from City Council. I thought I'd let you know that the city council denied the request that we heard on the public hearing. Please. Thank you. Public hearing that we had, at last meeting. Then went to council and they denied the request for rezoning as we did. With the help of Marshall, thank you very much. We passed all 4 ordinances that we had in front of council, last time. Does anyone have any topics they'd like to discuss? In our discussion phase, anything? Marshall, we have one that we'd like to talk to you about. You presented us a map of 756 Ocean Shores Boulevard at last meeting.
Right.
Does anyone have some feedback for Marshall and the owner of these parcels as to what best to do with those at 756 Ocean Shores Boulevard? Very interesting parcel, I will say. Anybody have any comments?
I think what he's proposing makes sense.
And I think the kind of feedback he was looking for was, are you gonna, would the planning commission or the council strongly oppose this type of development? Seems to lend itself to the neighborhood.
It does, and it's already B1, so there's no rezoning question at all. It does fit in that area of town, either fourplexes or he could build a hotel in that area. That would, be brand new hotel. I don't know who the owner is. As I said last time, I don't want to know who the owner is. But yeah, fourplex, a hotel, something like that to provide housing here. It's perfectly located for that. The only thing that I would be wondering is, adequate parking, and that would come through the process of, the building, planning and building code. So that's all I had. I was pretty amazed. I realized that this is not exact, but when I drove by it, and I drove by it twice, yeah, it would fit nicely in there, whatever he decided to do along those lines with housing. Any other thoughts? I mean, Marky's attempt at humor, I would say a parking lot would be nice, but
Restrooms?
with restrooms, right? But
4-story parking garage with
Right.
restroom.
right? Well, I think we're capped at 3 stories, but yeah, that would be great. There we go. So, I mean, speaking about, revenue generating activity, parking lots always make money. But yeah. Well, thank the owner for sharing the opportunity for us to look at it. And I don't think we'd have any problem with anything along those lines in the B1.
Thanks for taking a look.
It's kind of refreshing that somebody would do that for. I mean, it's kind of like a courtesy.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely not necessary, but there's no sense in, picking a fight where one's not warranted.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
Very-
You just wanted to make sure that there wasn't gonna be some strong opposition
Yeah.
to that type of development, so.
yeah, like you said, it was refreshing to get a request on that end, right? As opposed to, what are you thinking? Yeah, or you've already done this before you checked. Yeah, so anyway, it was very interesting. So I look forward to seeing what happens in those parcels going forward. Marshall, do you have anything for us in community liaison?
Today.
No, your roller skates are, yeah, they're tired, I'm sure. Okay, are there any commissioners that have any report? Any commissioner reports today? No? City council, the only thing, I have a city council this evening, and I have a meeting with the mayor tomorrow. We've now set a meeting for every Wednesday after, planning commission and city council. So. Okay, if nothing else, public communication, yes,
You mentioned the restrooms.
yes.
I was on Google and Google Maps, which you can expand to get more details, shows public restrooms in Ocean Shores.
Okay,
Could you put that on your flyer, or could that information be passed out by the businesses? So we don't have to have an expensive tax to build more public restrooms when they're already there.
right,
And you
so,
can be directed to them by your cell phone, which everybody has.
sure, everybody's got that. So when you did that, where did it show that the restrooms were? Because you're right, there are restrooms. And
They
we,
label public restrooms.
yes, so were they in businesses or,
Is it at the Shiloh? It was the main.
right there, we got the one with Shiloh. We've had this discussion, it's a very good point you make,
Well, I just,
No.
nobody knows about it.
right?
I just thought that I ran.
If you do the Google search, I think Marshall did it during one of our meetings a couple times ago, and it showed the state park as well as the one at Shiloh. There are restrooms at the community club parks, some city parks,
Those are shown too.
but the question becomes, a lot of the people, when they need a restroom, if they're in the business core, in the corridor, you know, that's where they are. So that's where they're gonna be looking for them. You're exactly right, though.
Yeah, but I, as a citizen, am not in the business of providing restroom for businesses.
True, but we are, it is in our best interest to consider restrooms for
Okay, I just,
tourists, you
I'm just
know?
giving you my opinion.
Yeah, no, I like
How
it.
many are they talking about? How many ingredients?
I don't know. See, that's the whole idea. We haven't gotten to that point. We've gotten to, do we need them?
Is it any way that if this is a pass for this new building to require them to have so many public restrooms in it? So that would benefit the city as well as the individual building it?
Well, that would depend on what is built there. If it's apartments, no, you
No
know,
one apartments.
well, I'm just saying, you know, I mean, whoever
Yeah.
owns that can do almost anything. If you have a hotel, then you have parking spaces. But then would those be available to the general public as opposed to those that are renting there? So it's,
How about adding on to what's there? Is there any possibility, you already got the plumbing and everything, could you just add on to more of it? To what is across from the Shiloh, or would that be still confining it?
well, it would confine it, but I don't know that there's any additional plumbing available to expand. I mean, I don't know the answer to that question. It's interesting, but yeah, I mean, I totally get that the city has the restrooms on their parks list and things. It's just one of those things.
No one knows about them.
I always say that if it was easy, it'd already be done, right? And this is one where if it was easy, it'd already be done. Now, the city does bring in more for the big events, but I don't know that we have adequate for 365 days here, given the number of tourists that we get.
Well,
So,
even the porta potties they put up for the people that come, they blow them up with fireworks. So, I mean, where do you draw the line?
right, yeah. Yeah, I was blessed with getting an opportunity to replace my mailbox, with that. I mean, what are you gonna do? But a good point. Yeah, so it's a process. It's like anything else. I always say I'll kick around anything here. But probably nothing's gonna happen fast.
Right.
But I hope that whatever we decide will be a smart decision for the community and our guests, so. One thing we can do, and we haven't done it yet, but one thing we can do the quickest is signs.
Yes.
Just to let them know where the public
Yeah.
restrooms are, and, we've been discussing that, and so hopefully we'll get,
Advertise on the school. I mean, the school has all during the summer, that billboard there that says welcome to. Advertise on that, let them know.
Sure. I mean, there's ways to do it. I mean, I was talking to the mayor and I said, I'm really pleased with the signs we now have that say public parking, right? Well, that's great. So people can see public parking to the left or whatever, but where's the signs that say public restrooms? Go. So we're talking about where's the best place to put those things, to funnel, people to in front of the Shiloh, there on Chancellor Mayor, but are those enough? And so, and if they are, great, conversation's over. If not, then where, how many, how do we execute it? Plan is great, the execution phase is more difficult. So we're trying to work through the process.
I understand.
Yeah. Any other comments, questions? Any comments or questions from afar?
Yes, this is Jane. I just wanted to reiterate a few issues I had with that trapping ordinance and just kind of go over that for a moment. Once again, it just really concerns me that in there it says that may contact city animal control officer to establish that the threat of human safety or property damage is caused. And once again, I don't believe it should be on animal control officer as far as property damage caused. And what is property damage? I mean, I have the deer come through and eat my landscaping and my flowers and this and that. So that is a real concern. What one person's property damage may be another. So where is that going to be defined? You know, when Scott Harris did come in there, he mentioned, you know, he always mentions preventative measures before taking animals out or trapping or removing them. And he had mentioned, you know, putting fencing around trees if beavers are doing the trees. So that's my initial thing is does our animal control officer have the background and the education to determine what is property damage and how is property damage going to be defined. I think as far as any of that should go directly to the Department of Fish and Wildlife, someone who's educated and can determine on that, and maybe talk about preventative instead of just eradicating animals because they're a nuisance. Like I said, I have some beautiful flowers out there the other day, the deer that just ate. So you, excuse me, you learn to plant something different. So that's a few of my concerns. My other concern was the addition of adding to include dogs and cats. And if that Class B offense is still a which criminal offense is that? Because before there were two different types of definitions on that. And I think that's something that actually, when it comes to dogs and cats, needs to be addressed separately and not lumped in with the fur-bearing animals. So that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Don, do you have anything? Don, do you have anything for us? And do you have anything for us? Okay. If there's nothing else from afar, our next meeting date will be Tuesday, August 12th, 2025 at 2 p.m. in the Ocean Shores Library. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So adjourned